So you can see my guy sitting at the desk with his computer. And I used to call this why websites fail. And I thought that that was a little bit too down, such too much of a downer. So I changed it to why your website may not be converting and how to fix it without starting over. Because I think a lot of people look at their website and it's not converting. I just have to redo the whole thing. And that may not be the case. That may not be necessary at all. And even though I'm one who I make money by helping people do their new websites, if that's not necessary, then why do that? Why do that? So we're going to look at how to fix things that may be wrong with your site without having to totally redo it. Quick question that I have for you. So, do you feel like you're doing everything right? You know, you're posting, you're maybe running ads, you're getting traffic to your website, but it's just not turning into clients, maybe. A lot of times people think that as long as the design is good, as long as I have SEO and I just need more traffic, that's all my website needs. And the real issue isn't necessarily that the design or SEO isn't working, search engine optimization isn't working well. There's a whole strategy that as a business owner, I mean, you had said that that God directs the direction of the customer journey and how they move through the process of learning about you and how to trust you, and then how to believe that what you have to offer is something that they will benefit from. Um, a lot of times that's not specifically mapped out on our homepage. And that makes it really confusing for people because they don't know where they're supposed to go next. And that is probably one of the biggest problems that I can see is your website's not broken. Your visitors just don't know what you want them to do next. So that's all part of what it takes to fix a site. So um, there's a big shift away from your site has to look polished. Your site has to have all your company information. It's got to rank well with Google keywords. That's the old style. The new style is you've got to guide your visitors from one decision to the next. Click here to download your guide. There's an example that I've come to start focusing on is that your business is like a house. And you've got this front porch on your house, and you've got steps that lead up to the front porch. And you have to entice people to want to come up those steps. And that means they have to know about you. They have to know what you do. They have to know how you help them and why it's important that you're the one who helped them. That's what makes them step up those steps to your front porch. And then once you get to the front porch, what do you do on a front porch? You sit in the front porch swing, or you sit in chairs next to each other and you talk and you build trust and you build a relationship. That's the next step on your website. So you entice people to walk up the steps to learn about you. Then you have them sit down and you build a relationship with them so that they learn to trust you. And that's when you can say, hey, come on in for some coffee. And that's when you open the door and your clients come in. They buy from you. They decide, okay, this is the person I want to talk to. And I think that's the new reality in website design and the purpose behind a website. Your website doesn't fail because it looks bad. Maybe it fails because you just haven't guided your visitors through the process so they can get to know you and learn to trust you. And I think that's the biggest point of a website to begin with. Um, if your website is just sitting there like a glorified business card, it's not doing the work that it should be doing. Your website should be that 24/7 employee who works for you all the time, never is sick, never takes off, always speaks your truth and helps you speak directly to your client. Um, so I take a look at your own. Now, I know you said you're trying to fix yours, and I'll have a worksheet that I'll give you the link to at the end. But but take a look at these things on your website and judge how you think you're doing. Is the message clear? Does someone know exactly what you do when they first come to your site? Go ahead, Erin.
Not exactly. Like I think they have an idea, and I think it's because like I'm not fully clear on what I do. Like I have an idea, but then it kind of my idea of it kind of turns into a jumble. And then I'm just like
Yeah,
having to
yeah.
explain this.
I'm in the process of writing a book about my experiences as a mom, and it took me probably 4 months to figure out who I was writing the book for. And now that I know who I'm writing the book for, it's easier to know how to start, where to go, what to do next, and the next and next. But but a lot of that clarity has to do with knowing who you're talking to and being able to explain to them what you do and why you do it, how you help them. Um, a lot of times people will put their on their website, I've got 40 years of writing experience and I've done this and I've been a public relations person and I've written this website and I've done this and that. They don't care about that. Right now, they want to know what it is that you are going to do to help them solve the problem that they have. And so your website needs to be very client focused, not quite so much business self focused as much as this is for you. These are the things that I do or that I help you do, the problems I help you solve. And you are not the be all end all of the equation. They are. So you may be the one who's going to step in and show them the way to move, but they're the ones who will be making those decisions, and they're the ones who will be the hero of their own story. And a lot of times as business owners, and I've done this with websites myself, we've business owners about you should hire me because I have this experience. And they don't really care. Not until they know who you are and know more about what it is you do and they begin to trust you. Then they want to know more about how you built that experience. Um, there's there's the question of the conversion. I think we try to do way too many things on our home pages. We say, go download this and then schedule this call and um, uh, uh, buy this thing. And our pages really basically have to have one obvious next step. And you can't say something like learn more because that really doesn't tell your visitor what's going to happen when they click on that button. If your button says schedule a call, they know that when they click their button, they're going to probably go to a scheduling app and they can schedule some time with you. If it's download my guide, they know that when they click that button, they're going to go to a landing page or some other website they can put information in where they can get whatever guide it is that you're offering. So those conversion buttons, those calls to action have to be very specific so that your visitors know what's going to happen when they click on that button. It all comes down to trust. They have to be able to trust you, to know that you are there to serve them. Do you feel credible? Do they believe in your authority? This is where you can put some of your credentials. I think the most important thing here, though, is testimonials. Other people who have worked with you and their comments. And if you can do that in video, video has a much more, a much higher importance because it's from this person's mouth. They're seeing them talk about you, talk about what you did for them. Uh, and then there's just the whole idea of does it flow? Um, with as you're going through and looking at your site and looking at these five different things, if if you're uh, rating them from 1 to 5, with 1 being not so great and 5 being awesome, if you've got any areas that are 4 and under, that's something that you should probably take a look at. And they're really easy to fix. Those are things that are really easy to fix. You don't have to redo the whole site. And we'll get into that as we move along. So, uh, I've got 5 reasons why sometimes a website doesn't necessarily work the way that you would like it to. The first is there's no clear path. I've said it a couple of times already, but one of the biggest problems that I see is that websites offer too many options. If your website has too many options, you've got menus all across the top, along the side, buttons all over the place that have the visitor do different things, go different places. Your visitor really has no idea what to do next, and a confused buyer doesn't buy. If someone is confused, they're going to go back to the step before where maybe they found you on a search engine results page and they're confused about what to do next. They're going to go back and choose the next person or the next site that's been suggested for them. Or they just don't do anything. A lot of times people don't necessarily know exactly what their problem is, so they're not really sure what the solution is supposed to be. So if you can attract someone's attention with, does this happen to you? And they think, oh yeah, maybe that's my problem. Then it's probably you'll probably get a higher conversion with that than you do with I do this work and I've helped this many people. Um, So your homepage needs to have one clear next step. Um, and so when we're done here, go back to your homepage and ask yourself, what am I asking people to do here? The we call it above the fold. I don't know if you're old enough to remember newspapers and newspaper sales boxes, how they would put the newspaper in the box, and the above the fold section is what everyone saw. So you wanted that above the fold section to have something really, really cool on it so people would want to open up the box and buy your paper. Above the fold is that first screen that loads when someone comes to your website. So that above the fold section has to do the heavy work of enticing someone to stay there and to scroll. So that one conversion path, that one path. So define one primary call to action, place it above the fold, make it visible before anyone has to do any scrolling. And that is something that should help conversions on your homepage right away. So things like book a call, get a quote, download the guide, those are clear actions, clear calls to action. Um, the number 2 reason is that the messaging is about you and not about your client. Um, you want that first above the fold page to show who you help, how you help them, why you're the one to do it, and why it matters that they come to you. And it sounds like a lot to try to get into a 3-second sentence, but I just helped someone create messaging for her therapeutic massage website. And at first she was talking a lot about, we've been in the Clintonville, Ohio area for 20 years. We've served this many number of people. And after talking with her for 90 minutes or so, she changed it to, uh, are you tired of being tired? Let us help you. Or something like, you are a professional and you want to be able to put in a full day's work. let our massage therapy help you relax enough to be able to do that. But that messaging has to be about your client. Uh, Most websites sound like we provide this, we specialize in this, but your visitor's thinking, what's in it for me? I don't know if you've heard that goldfish have a short-term memory of about 5 seconds. Um, we adults these days in the post Sesame Street era have a attention span of about 3 seconds. So our attention span, you have to catch someone's attention faster than what you would catch a goldfish's attention for them to want to stay on your website. Um, so the action step that you could do here is take a look at that headline, that first headline that's on your website above the fold, and figure out a better way to say what it is that you do and how you help someone. So that's the reason number two. Reason number three is I call it a content ecosystem. The simple thing is you want people to stay on your website as long as possible. That means you link to other parts of your website. I always tell people that they should not put their social media links in the header on their website. They should put it in the footer because you don't want someone to open up your website and see, oh, let me look at their Facebook page. Now they're off your site. Let me look at their Instagram. Now they're off your site. If they scroll to the bottom, they've gone through, they've read your information, they've seen what you have, then it's okay for them to want to look more in for more information about you. But you want them to stay on your site as long as possible. So take a look at the internal links that you have on your site. Maybe on your homepage, you talk very generically about your services, link to the services page, or you write a blog post about something, link to something else on your site, link to another blog post, link back to your services, link back to testimonials. You should probably try to have 2 to 3 internal links per page. So something that will help your visitor look at your site, look at your whole site. They're not going to just look at the front page. They're going to see a link and go to another page. Or you have a case study. You offer your services, have a link to a case study about something that you did for a client and how it worked out for them. Uh, on your homepage, in the banner across the top, you can have a link to your lead magnet up there. It's one of those extra places that you can do some things that maybe you don't have to focus on one uh, uh, point or one call to action per page. That's something that was going to take them to someplace else within your site and will probably give you an email address that you will be able to add to your to your email system. So that's something else that you could take a look at later on today or this weekend if you're feeling like you really want to work on your website this weekend. So number four is that, and this is probably the most difficult thing for me, is the follow-up. Uh, is trying to personalize things for people, um, capture their email, get some way to have them opt in so that they say, yes, I want you to have my email address. Create a engaging email nurture sequence after they do give you their email that says thank you so much. Here's some information that I had that might help you in addition to what you downloaded already. You don't want every email that you send out to someone a call to action to schedule a call with me, buy this service from me. You want to be as giving as you can and as give as much information and help as you can. And so if someone downloads a guide from you, then maybe that you've got an email that goes out that says, thank you so much for downloading my guide and for trusting me with by giving me your email address. The next one could be, hey, you downloaded this guide. Do you have any questions about that? I've had some people in the past who have said that this is something that really helped them as they were going through the guide and they were trying to figure out how to use it. And then the third email could be, you've downloaded that guide now. Now, here's something else that might help you as you're going through this process of trying to solve your problem. And maybe the fourth email is the one where you say, would you like to talk about this? I'd be happy to talk about this with you for free. I'd be happy to spend 20 minutes to answer your questions about this. But it's creating a simple follow-up sequence that continues to give value, continues to help build trust with your client or your potential client, and then lets them see that you have the authority to help them, that you know what you're talking about. So having a follow-up system is extremely important. Um, yeah, so let's go on to the next to number 5. Building without a strategy. Pretty does not mean profitable. This is a big one because a lot of websites are built backwards. They start with the design. They start with, oh, I like this logo. I like these colors. Um, or I want this big picture at the top, or this is what I want it to look like. I want it to look like a brochure or whatever. Instead of thinking with what is it that this website is going to do? What do I want this website to do? I want it to be built around this specific goal. Do I want it to build trust? Do I want it to inform people about how I can serve them? Do I want it to be a sales website? Um, when I talk about sales funnels, one of the biggest problems that people have with those sales funnels is they start right off with, "Hey, buy my stuff." When that's not the first thing that people need to know. The first thing that people need to know is who you are, what it is that you do, and can they trust you? Then you can ask them, hey, buy my stuff. Maybe a little bit differently than buy my stuff, but still. So if you don't figure out what it is that you want your website to do, the pretty website doesn't matter. How you want it to act on your behalf. So what is the one job of my website? For me, the one job of my website is to acknowledge that I know you have a problem that you're trying to solve. You want to create a website that will bring people in. This is how I help you solve it. And these are the steps that we take to get there. That's what my website does, is gives my authority and helps to build trust. That is So deciding what it is, that one goal that you want for your website, that's probably the most important thing that you need to do first of all, is just figure out what it is that you want that website to do. So take a look at your site, or take a look at how you want to redesign your site or how you want to reword your site, and go through these 5 sections. The headline. Does your headline say, we help this people get this result without this pain? Now, some people say, I don't want to remind people of their problem and their pain. And the thing with that is they have to feel what the problem is before they can accept that you have a solution. So it doesn't need to be, if you don't fix this problem, your marriage is going to fail and your children are going to leave you. And no, it's just, if you don't fix this problem, what's going to happen tomorrow? Exactly what happened today. The things that happen today that you didn't want to happen, if you don't address them, they will be there still tomorrow. So let's fix it now. Um, Make sure you have one clear call to action above the fold. Try to have 2 to 3 internal links on your top pages. Add an email opt-in, and remove unnecessary menu items. You don't have to have the clutter there. So, the solution may be that you need to clarify your message. Your message should answer these questions right within seconds of someone coming to your webpage. What do you do? Who do you do it for? Why should you be the one to do it? And why does it matter? And you don't have to redo the whole site. Just take a look at the main pages of your site and ask yourself these questions. And how can I make it better? How can I make this so that it matters to the people that I'm trying to talk to? Okay. So you may need to clarify your message. Um, and at the end, I'll give you a link where if you want to schedule some time, we can do that. I do offer a service where I we start out with a 90-minute call, and that may seem like a long time, but there are a lot of questions to get through to really understand what it is that you do in your business, not necessarily you personally, but I talk a lot with people about what it is that they do. Who are the people they serve? What are your values? Because if you're attracting clients who don't have the same values that you do, then there's a miscommunication in there somewhere. What are your values? What do you value in your clients? Why did they come to you? What problem do you solve? And then I go through and if you have a website, evaluate your website, and give you a full report on suggestions and what you're doing great and some suggestions on how to fix it. Um, if there are things that need to be fixed. We come up with a one statement that you can use as the main headline of your website. Uh, Come up with I mean, there's a whole marketing messaging report that we give back, and then we discuss it and talk about, did I get it? Did I get it right? Is this what you feel? If not, then let's go back and fix it. But we want to make sure that you have statements that you can use in your website, in your marketing that emphasizes what it is that you do for your clients and how you serve them and help them solve their problems. So that's a solution that might be necessary or might be good for you. Or if you really feel like you need to rethink your website, um, I can I've joined in with a graphic designer and we've created a product called Done in a Day website. And we will go through and do the same messaging and talk about the things that you like, the things that you don't like, the words that you want to use, the words that you don't want to use, who's your ideal client. And then we get together for a full 8-hour day and we create your homepage, your about page, your services page, and a contact page. And then give you some ideas for a lead magnet that you could do. So that is another service that we offer called Done in a Day website. I think a lot of reasons why people don't do a website is because first of all, they think it's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars, and it doesn't. Or they think it's going to take months to get it finished, and that has happened with people. Or they think that they're going to just do it themselves. But you're trying to run a business. The last thing you want to do is to be spending all of your time trying to figure out how to make this website work, or how to add text to this page, or how do I add a photograph? How do I add a form for people to fill out to get my special thing? That's stuff that we do all the time. Um, so and I said this before, but your website should be your hardest working employee. It's there 24/7. It never gets sick. It's always available, even when you sleep. And usually you can answer a lot of people's questions just with the homepage of your website. And I'll have this, I'll put this in the chat when we're done, but you want to fix the strategy, not just the design. So you don't have to redesign the whole thing, but just make sure that it flows, that your goal for your website moves from one page to the next page, and that it makes sense to your visitor. These are some links. So this is where to contact me. This is where to schedule a call. I'll be giving you the link for this worksheet and this workbook. This is a workbook that I developed with the Why Websites Fail webinar, but it's still great information. If you want to look at any of our previous videos, this is where you can find it. My next webinar is all about your ideal client, not only how to identify them, but how to talk to them. And it will be May 22nd, and this is the link for it. I'll put all of that in the chat. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Can't think of any questions at the moment. I would say that was very thorough for like some ideas of action steps.
Good, good. So, I mean, just take a look at your site. Even if it's the old one that you don't want it to be that way anymore, look at it and see where you might be able to change some things or make things clearer or attract someone's attention to say, yes, download this thing. Um, those 5 steps, just to do those 5 steps this weekend would significantly increase the conversions on your site. Thank you, Erin. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to stop recording here.